What's up, y'all? Good afternoon. I'm gonna go ahead and do a quick live. It's been a minute. I haven't done a live in a while. I've been extra busy with the kids. I'm sure a lot of y'all know how that is. So y'all ain't heard from me in a while, but no real reason. Just been busy. So I'm gonna do a quick live. And for anybody that doesn't know, I'm Joseph. I'm part of Breaking the Chains. Basically, what we do is we do live videos. We have a YouTube channel. It's called Breaking the Chains. We have a Facebook group called Breaking the Chains. Everything we do is Breaking the Chains. We also have T-shirts that we sell, and basically, all the money that we raise goes to Restoring Hope in Women. It's a nonprofit organization that helps get women into recovery. It's on the Eastern Shore of Maryland. That's where I'm from, but I'm currently living in Houston, and I'm planning on going home um, in August, actually at the end of July, the end of this month. So we're doing an event in my hometown, which is Chestertown, Maryland. Um, so yeah, that's what's coming up. That's what we got going on. We do two events a year, one in somewhere around March and April, and then we do another one at the end of the summer, like August. So and basically we just have vendors come out. We do raffles, fundraisers. We have speakers, um, and we just try to raise some money. Our last one that we did was really good. We had a really good turnout, raised a lot of money, and like I said, it all goes to Restoring Hope in Women. That's the organization that we, I guess you could say, we sponsor them, or they sponsor us. I don't know. Um, but that's where all the money from the T-shirt goes. If anybody's wondering, I'm just letting you know that's where it all goes. Um, so I guess you could say we're nonprofit as well. Then next year we're going to start raising money to open up our own recovery house called Wendy's House, and it's going to be a woman's recovery house, and that's the long-term goal. So the short-term goal right now is just helping fellow addicts and alcoholics, and then the long-term goal is to eventually open up our own halfway house, or recovery house. You call it what you want. So today I'm going to do a topic, and my topic is, are you on the edge? And um, this is an important topic. Usually, everybody that follows me, they know I usually do the just for today. I'm not doing that today. I'm gonna do a different topic, and the topic is, are you on the edge? So for a lot of us, when you get in recovery, there'll come a point in time where you're not feeling as strong or as solid as you felt like you were in the past, or you may get into recovery and not feel solid at all. You might struggle your whole way through up until wherever you are. Um, and I understand, the longest I've ever had sober was probably like 20 months. And anybody that's, wondering, my thing's alcohol. I'm an alcoholic. I've always had a problem with alcohol. I started drinking when I was about 15. By the time I was 19, it became an issue, and I kept drinking all the way until I was like 28, 29. So it's a struggle, and I feel like for a lot of us, we'll hit those milestones. And I tell people all the time, I'll have somebody hit me up and they'll be like, I'm really struggling right now. And I'll ask them, how long you been clean? How long you been sober? They'll tell me 30 days or 2 weeks. I'm like, you're still fresh in recovery, give yourself a chance. It's okay. It's normal to feel like you're going to crack, or it's normal to feel like you're going to give in to the pressure. It's okay. It's okay to feel that way, but the most important thing is that you reach out to somebody. Um, the old saying, "Closed mouths don't get fed." If you sit and keep your mouth shut and you don't say nothing to nobody, and you just sit there and you don't open up, and you don't be on, and you're not honest with anybody about how you feel, um, you have nobody to blame but yourself, and nobody can help you if you don't say nothing. That's why I always say at the end of my videos, I always tell people, add me on Facebook, inbox me if you need me. If you're going through a hard time and you want advice, or you want to talk it out with somebody, I'm always available. I'll never ignore your message. So just keep that in mind. Um, Moving forward on the topic, just know that in the back of your head, like if I'm going through a hard time, I can hit this guy up. I tell people all the time, I'm not just a video. I'm not just a live video. I'm a real person, and I can help you more than just doing a live video. Um, like we always say, there is no cure. I can't cure you. I'm not a doctor. I'm not you. You know what I'm saying? The only person that's responsible for keeping you sober and keeping you clean and keeping you sane is yourself. Nobody else shares that obligation. For most of us, nobody else got you fucked up. Nobody else is gonna get you fixed. You gotta do it. You gotta do the work. Um, but it's normal. A lot of us hit that breaking point. For me, um, I said that I knew I had a problem when I was 19, right? But I kept drinking for like another 10 years. Why is that? Why did I keep drinking for another 10 years? Well, I kept drinking for another 10 years because I just couldn't accept the fact that there was something in my life that I lost control of that I couldn't control anymore. And that's just a lot of your ego getting in the way. What's another reason why I kept drinking for 10 years? It was a part of me. It became a part of my lifestyle. It became a big part of who I was. And I know it sounds weird to say that, but I had a deeper attachment to drinking and being drunk than just on the surface of having a good time. It grew deeper. It started out like a party. It started out like having a good time. But the more I drank and the more I did it and the longer I did it, the more it became a part of who I was. Um, it's hard to let go of the lifestyle. It's hard to let go of the social scene. It's hard to let go of the friends. It's hard to let go of the family members. It's hard to let go. And I feel like for a lot of us, when we hit that breaking point where we feel like we're gonna, relapse or we want to drink or we want to get fucked up, it's usually because that that thought slipped back up into our mind. You know what I mean? It's like I guess you could like relate it to like an ex-girlfriend or ex-boyfriend, somebody that you cared about that was a part of your life for so long, and you get rid of them because it's for the better, and then a year later they come back around, and then you start feeling all those feelings again. Something will trigger the thought, and then you might take the first step. You might message them, or you might, you know what I mean, and then it's like you get wrapped up in it, and you don't realize it was a bad idea until you're back wrapped up in it. So it's best that you just stay the fuck away from it. You know what I mean? And I just feel like for a lot of us, we just have trouble creating a new lifestyle because everything was surrounded by drugs and alcohol. And it's almost like you're being, not to be cheesy, but it's almost like you're being reborn. It's like you're starting over. You're starting your life over. And that's how it was for me. But, for me, I enjoyed the new start. I talk about it all the time. Like, I enjoyed not having to worry or feel guilty or, not be responsible for so much bullshit. It felt good. It was like a breath of fresh air to know that I'm not responsible for anything. That's none of the bullshit. I know it's not me. I know I didn't do it. Um, so it was just like, it was a relief to not have to feel guilty or feel ashamed or feel, nervous or paranoid. Like, what's going to happen to me now? What did I get into last night? Am I going to get in trouble? Am I going to get caught up? It's like, fuck that shit, man. It's tiring. It's stressful. It's unnecessary. I'm done jeopardizing my freedom and my sanity for childish shit like getting drunk. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck does that do for your life? Tell me one good thing that's ever come out of it, and I'll show you. If you can come up with one, I'll show you 10 more that were the opposite. I'll show you 10 more negative consequences that came from it. It's the classic, do the scale. Which one's heavier? The good or the bad? And a lot of times, I do this scenario for people who are like on the edge where, they feel like they want to get fucked up and they're struggling. I do this scenario where I tell people, to write down a list of good things that happen when you drink or use drugs, and write down a list of all the bad things you can remember, and figure out which one's longer. It's so simple to look at it and just say, there's a lot more on this side of the page than there is on this side of the page. You know, take that paper and that same pen, flip the page over, and write down a list of things you don't like about yourself when you drink or use drugs. And then on the other side, write a list of things you like about yourself when you're clean and sober. It's simple. It's simple. You know, for people that go through hard times and they struggle and they don't want to do any work, like they don't want to actually work at it, they want somebody to just tell them the right answer. It's not a test. There's no right or wrong answer to anything. It's just a simple matter of you putting forth the fucking effort. How many times have you put forth insane amount of effort to get fucked up? All the lying and hiding and scamming and scheming and all the bullshit. That takes a lot of fucking work. And if you're not willing to put that same amount of effort and that same amount of work into your recovery, then that's on you. That's not on anybody else. It's not on everybody else to make sure that you're staying whole. It's not on everybody else to make sure that, you know, you're doing what you're supposed to do. So just try to keep that in mind. Try to keep that in the back of your mind. And if you're going through a hard time, number one, it's normal. It's normal. And number two, do something about it. If you're stale in your recovery and shit's not going how you want it, and you're starting to have those thoughts slip back up into your mind about how you want to use or you want to get drunk, I can probably picture what's going through your head. What's probably going through your head is, oh, I'm stressed out. I'm depressed. I'm angry. This shit ain't going right. I don't like my job. You start that complain shit. You take gratitude and you push it down and you start complaining. So you're building it up. You're starting to build your case for why you want to get fucked up, right? That's just the first part of it. Then you slip into the romance phase, where you remember this time so fucking long ago when you first started doing it. And you're like, man, that was a great time. I want to do that again. Maybe if I, be careful and, just kind of pace myself, I might re-experience that. You're lying to yourself. You already know that's not what's going to happen. But you're building your case even stronger. So instead of working towards the other side, a lot of times we start building that case for why we should get fucked up. And then eventually, once you pass those two phases, eventually what happens is you go straight into obsession, where now you've thought about it so much, you've romanced it so much, to the point where now you're obsessed and your mind is going into an autopilot and you won't be able to control it. You'll click over into autopilot where you're being driven by your desire to do something, even though you know you shouldn't do it. You're being driven by it, and you're getting to that point where it's too late, where you're already about to make your choice. So for my money's worth, in my opinion, when you start to feel that immediately, as soon as you start to feel it, there's things that I always tell people to do. And, I always say don't knock it if you haven't tried it. It works for me. It's worked for other people. It's not completely off the wall. But as soon as you feel that moment, like the moment you feel it, as soon as you feel it, where you feel like you're curious, you wanna use again, or you wanna get drunk again, you wanna test the waters. That's what everybody says. You wanna go back and test the waters. What I would do is I would make those lists that I talk about. Actually, don't just sit there and think about it. Actually put pen to paper. Sit down, take a deep breath, take a step away from everybody and everything. You can do it in your phone. Everybody's got notes in their phone. They can do it in their phone. I think it's more impactful if you actually write it down in a notebook for some reason. But if you can't get to a notebook, pull out your notepad in your phone and do it on your phone. Write down a list of good memories when you used and got, drank or whatever it is you do. And then write down a list of bad memories. And look at them and figure out which one you like better. You know, is it worth it? Answer the question. You know, actually read both of them. Is it worth it? You know, you look on the good side, and what might you remember? Music was a little bit better. Music's already great. Sex was a little bit better. Sex is already great. Um, you were more funny. It's subjective. You know what I mean? You released and you were more social. Okay, I'll give you that one. You were social. You became more sociable. Um, it numbed your pain. Okay, but you know it's temporary, right? So you gotta make sure you're making yourself aware. Yeah, it numbed my pain, but it's temporary. Um, and I can't really think of anything else. Then let's go to the other side. The bad side, right? Probation, parole, jail time, paranoia, um, illness. No matter what you do, there's illness attached to it. Broken relationships, broken partnerships. You're not being there for your fucking kids. You're not being present for your kids. You're there, but you're not. Just to name a few. Losing your job, not showing up for work, not being good at work. You know, when you do show up, you're half-assed. So which one? You know what I mean? Which one do you want? Because I talk about the scenario where when we're in something, it could be the most dramatic experience of our life. It could be the most dangerous or most paranoid we've ever been in a situation. But once we get away from that situation for a little while, we don't look at it the same no more. Our memory's not that good. We look back and we just remember all the highlight reels. We just remember all the good times. And we might remember a dark time. We might remember all these dark times, but we don't feel as like ashamed or guilty or nervous or paranoid about it anymore because we're so far away from it. We're so far removed from that experience that we've lost the experience to the point where we don't remember how bad it was. And then when we do relapse again, or we do drink again, we end up in one of those experiences, especially if you keep going and going and going, you will end up in that. And then we're like, fuck, you know? Like, this shit is fucking terrible. I'm so over this type of shit. I'm so done with this type of shit. It's like, yeah, well, if you looked at it with clear lenses before and you actually wrote it down, remembered your last high or remembered your last drunk or remembered your worst experience, you would have known that. And you might have made a better choice. But that's part of doing the work. I feel like it's cliche for everybody to just say, do the work. And then everybody's like, well, what's the work? The work is the shit I'm telling you. Being honest with somebody, calling somebody up and saying, hey, I'm feeling this kind of way. And they might talk you down. Or putting a pen to paper, like I said, write it down. Write the shit down. Compare it. Write a fucking gratitude list of all the things you're grateful for now that you didn't have before. All this shit works. You'll feel better. Go get some exercise. Go get some retail therapy. Go buy yourself something. There's plenty of things that you can do to get over that, to get over that feeling. You don't just have to white knuckle it all the time. There's always something that you can do. And I feel like a lot of people say do the work without actually telling people what the work is. And a lot of people will say, I've talked about this before in my videos. Somebody will be having a hard time. It's like fucking 12:30 at night, 1 o'clock in the morning, and somebody will get in the comment and say, go to a meeting. And I'm just like, ugh. Where is there a meeting at 1:30 in the morning? Like, that person needs help right now. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, not to knock the person that said that, because it's just been programmed in our heads to say those things. Get to a meeting. Call your sponsor. Not everybody goes to meetings and not everybody has a sponsor. And that's why I'm telling you shit that you don't need a sponsor for. You don't need a meeting for. This is shit that you can do on your own. So you can be self-sufficient. Because there's not always going to be a sponsor standing next to you, and there's not always going to be an open meeting. Just to make it clear. And that's why. It's not because I have a problem with meetings or sponsors. It's because they're not always obtainable. They're not always there, but you are always there. So you have to do the work yourself. You have to have things that you can do when nobody else is around that can help you get over the shit. And then it'll make you stronger. You'll be stronger because of it. You know, I always talk about building a strong foundation. And part of that strong foundation is the people that you put around yourself, um, your source of entertainment, where you go, the things you do. But the number one part of that strong foundation is you. You're the be all end all of your foundation. Yeah, you got all these other things around you that's a part of the foundation, but you're right at the center of it. And you have to be the strongest pillar. You have to be the strongest piece of concrete. You have to be the one. Because it's your recovery, it's your life, it's your mess that you created, and you're not always going to have somebody at your hip to be able to do everything for you and tell you what to do all the time. And speaking from experience, and this is just my experience, um, anytime that I wanted to get fucked up or I wanted to get drunk, there wasn't a person on the planet that was going to talk me out of it. And that's why I'm telling you these things. That's why I say about all the shit that you need to do. Because when I felt like I wanted to get fucked up and I wanted to drink, there were so many people, especially like towards the end, and you know, once it became a problem, like from like 21, 20-ish, all the way on, you know, I had people that would give me such a hard time about it, and you know, my wife hated it when I did it, my friends hated it, a lot of them. My brother didn't like it. He'd still hang with me, but you know, he'd always give me shit for it. And this is somebody who, you know, we've done our fair share of shit with. You know, we've done everything together. And it's like, he's giving me a hard time about this shit, all the shit we've done, and he's giving me a hard time about this. Something's wrong. But even still, if I wanted to drink, I was going to do it, no matter what. So that's why I'm telling people, like, this has to be you. You have to take ownership, and you have to do this. And a lot of us, I don't know, a lot of addicts and alcoholics, we got like this spoiled childlike behavior. Uh, it's kind of frustrating to see on the pages with a lot of the childlike behavior. And I get it, you know what I mean? It's like I said, you're being reborn, you're starting your life over, so I get it. It's a lot of this shit's new to you. But just a lot of the language that people use, like I see people, I'm leaving the page because, you know, this group is a popularity contest, and nobody's helping me stay clean, nobody's helping me stay sober. Wham, wham, wham. Accountability, bro. It's one of the biggest, most important things in recovery is accountability. Taking ownership of your actions and your life and taking some fucking responsibility for yourself and stop blaming everybody else. Because that's part of it too. That's part of that relapse, you know? You start creating unnecessary tension between other people because you want to drink and you want to get high and you don't know how to handle it. So you go into that program mode where, you know, like you're being programmed by your drug of choice, and you start creating a wedge between the people that care about you. You start putting a wedge between you and your job. You start putting a wedge between you and you, if you understand what I'm saying. And before you know it, you're in a fucked up situation and you're mad at everybody else. It don't work that way. And if you're on the edge to the point where you've tried it all. You might be really struggling, right? You've tried it all. You've called your friends. You've done the whole 9 yards. You've wrote down things. You've talked it out. You've gone to meetings. Then I would say that one or two things: you haven't really made your mind up yet about what you want to do, or you need some long-term treatment. And it takes a while. You know what I'm saying? It takes a while for us to get back to normal. And if you can't do it on your own, go get some long term help. Go to inpatient and get some long term treatment where you can just get away from everything and you can take a chance to really sit down and just put 110% into your recovery, because there's going to be nothing else for you to do at rehab. Absolutely nothing else. I told everybody before, I went to rehab once and I went into it because I had pending charges. I had a court date, so I went to help my situation out. I didn't go because I wanted to quit drinking. Um, and when I got there, I got a lot out of it, and I became like a full, like top-notch participant in everything. And it was strange because when I walked in there, I didn't go in there to really get sober. I just wanted to help my court case. But when I walked out of there, it was like I just think about it. I didn't stop drinking because of it, but I got so much out of it because I had nothing else to do. I had nothing else to focus on. Like, you know what I'm saying? In the outside world, there's so many other things to pull your attention and pull your emotions and pull you here and pull you there, and you got to do this and got to do that. And when you try to juggle too many things at once, sometimes you don't put all your focus into your recovery like you should, especially in the beginning. So, if you're struggling to the point where I don't care how long you got clean and sober. You be 10 years, 5 years, 1 year, 30 days, 60 days. If you're struggling to the point where you feel like you're going to break and you don't want to lose all this recovery that you've gotten, go get some help. See if you can go get some long-term treatment. It might sound like bizarre, but for somebody who might have 10 years clean and sober, but that would show me how serious you are. And you might need that refresher course. You might need that. So it might sound weird and it might not be the norm for somebody to do, but fuck normality and fuck all that other shit. If you want to stay clean and sober, you got to do everything that you have in your power to do. Because I guarantee you, 99.9% of the people who relapse, who said, nobody helped me. I reached out to all these people and I did this and that and nothing worked and blah, 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 blah. I can almost promise you they didn't put their full effort into not relapsing. Because I know when I relapsed, I didn't put any effort whatsoever. Because I already made my choice. I already made my mind up. I put zero effort. I didn't call anybody because I didn't want nobody to talk me out of it. I didn't tell anybody until after the fact, because once I'm already there, there's no, what are you going to do? Can't talk me out of something I've already done. Um, I didn't do any of that shit. I didn't even have that conversation with myself. I didn't even try to talk myself out of it. I just sat with my anxiety and sat with my nervousness and made my fucking decision. So, I mean, and that's how I feel like it goes for a lot of us. Some of us reach out, but some of us don't. That's why, like, one of the number one things that I preach about is accountability, because that's where it starts and stops. It starts with you, it stops with you. Everything in your life. And the more you acknowledge how much control you have over your life, the better you can prepare yourself. Because you're no longer waiting for somebody else to fix you or save you or, you know, hold you down or hold you up. And once you figure that out, you'll be better off. I feel like these videos and this community, I feel like it's a luxury. I feel like it's a plus. I feel like it's icing on the cake. I feel like it's extra credit, if it makes sense me saying that. But I got to be able to pass the test on my own. That's how I feel. Like, I feel like I need to be prepared to pass it on my own. And if I can get help and all this other shit along the way, then that's great. That makes it easier, or that makes me more solid in what I'm doing. But I need to be solid on my own, too. The community is important because the community serves as a constant reminder. You know, you might, it's almost like, I don't know how to explain it, or what word I want to use, but it's like, it's almost like before you ever even have the thought, you might watch a video, and that might carry you for a couple days, and then you might see another video, and that might carry you for a couple days. So the community is like one of the most important things about recovery. But you have to make sure that you're solid in what you're doing on your own too, because community is not always going to be there for you. You know what I'm saying? So just understand that. And I'm only telling you this because I don't want to see you fall when you're by yourself. I don't want you to get by yourself and fall down, because that's what happened to me. So it's like my experience. I'm sharing my experience, and I know I'm not the only person who's like that. You know, when you got your family around you all the time, and you got people you need to be normal for, and you need to be clean and sober for, and they're surrounding you, and you're staying on top of your shit. It's easy, but it's when you get by yourself, when you have that alone time, and nobody's around. That's when you'll get that reality check about how weak your foundation might really be. You might realize, fuck, I'm not as solid in this shit as I thought I was. So just keep that in mind. Keep working on you. Keep doing what you got to do to stay clean and sober. And if your foundation is not strong, then you need to figure out what you can do to make it stronger. And like I said, if you need anything from me, I'm always available unless I'm asleep. I'll respond to you. It might not be right away, but I will always respond. Um, but I'm the type of person, when it comes to this kind of thing, as far as like communicating with people via internet, I'll go as far as you'll go. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to babysit you, and I'm not going to hold your hand. If you message me and you have concerns or questions or whatever, and you're struggling, the conversation will go as far as you want to go. But I'm not going to go out of my way all the time to check on you. Because it's like, I just feel like that's not what it's about. It's like ignorance is bliss. Once somebody puts their hand out and says, hey, my hand's there if you ever need it, that's all that needs to be said. You've already made it aware. It's like you want to see the people put forth the effort, so you don't feel like, man, I'm just annoying them, and you know what I'm saying, like they don't really care as much. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. But it was just a thought, like I like to see, basically what I'm saying is I like to see the effort from the individual that needs the help or that's struggling. So, like I said in the beginning of the video, closed mouths don't get fed. Um, and that's pretty much it for today. I'll probably be back with a just for today topic because I haven't done one in a while. I know it's been a really long time. I don't even know how long it's been. Probably like almost a week. But uh, dad life has been extremely busy lately, so that's why I've not been around. I've been rushing. Like I go to the gym. Like I've been rushing in everything that I'm doing just so I can get back home and help out with the kids. So I've been in rush mode, so I haven't had time to just sit down and do a video for anybody or for myself. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you found it useful, share it out. Also, too, don't forget that we have a YouTube channel. If you need a message and nobody's around and you don't really want to converse, I can understand that. If you don't want to go back and forth with somebody, you can hit up the YouTube channel. All the videos are labeled, so you can find a topic that you might feel like you want to hear and click play. Um, I'll get Jewel to drop the link to the YouTube channel in the comment section so you guys can go subscribe to the YouTube channel. Um, and that's it. So if y'all need anything, remember, hit me up. And remember, stay clean and stay sober.